Hello, and welcome back to American English Pronunciation. This is the second in a series. Last time we did soft THs, the kind of sound that occurs in the words that, weather, breathe. Today we'll be working on strong THs. Okay, last time I explained that TH you do with your tongue, you sort of use it as a platform, as you would if you were diving, for example. You go out on it, you bounce a little bit, boom, you dive off. This is the same way with strong THs. For the soft TH, if you remember, you push forth a little bit of air, But for a strong TH, whoop, that's your tongue, remember, which should be about a half a centimeter. The tip of it should be about half a centimeter to a centimeter outside your teeth. Now, with soft TH, you pushed a little bit of air, but with strong TH, you're going to push a lot of air. As a result, you won't get the vibration on your tongue that you got if you practiced soft TH correctly. The sort of sound, which feels like vibration to you, but we hear it as a sort of a hum. It's sort of a sound that alerts us that you're pronouncing a soft TH correctly. With this sound, you'll be pushing forth so much air that you really won't get any vibration at all. You may have seen videos of when frogs try to catch insects that are far away from them. They stick out their tongue very far, and then the tip of it attaches to the insect somehow, and then they drag the insect back. That's what I want you to do with your breath, to really throw it, your breath, not your tongue, so that when you have a strong TH, you should really hear that. Thorn, bathtub, moth, for example. Now I'll go ahead and show you by using the tight videos of somebody who is pronouncing these words, and I want you to go ahead and practice them after that person does. At the end, there will be a practice sentence. And as I said before in session 1, many of my students who are international graduate students, many of them put those sentences, those practice sentences, into their phones. So then they can practice wherever they are, waiting for a bus, waiting for a restaurant, just walking home. So practice, and I'll be back after the tight close-ups. See you then.
Thorn, bathtub, moth, thin, toothache, cloth, thaw, truthful, broth, thing, wealthy, ninth, thread, athlete, 10th, thunder, toothbrush, month, thirsty, python, path, theater, marathon, booth, thief, healthy, beneath, thermometer, pathetic, fifth, thumb, birthday, teeth, Thursday, toothpick, south, thigh, something, north, therapy, pathway, strength, 13, panther, earth, 3, anything, youth, thimble, author, lath, thick, nothing, bird bath, 1,000, empathy, with, running from 3 thirsty panthers, the marathoners need strength plus a bath.
Hi, welcome back. There are a few things that I want to talk about that you may have actually already heard and noticed and said, what is this person doing with regard to strong THs? Okay, here's one. Oops, sorry. That word we pronounce strength. A lot of people who come to see me pronounce it strength, as though it doesn't have any other sound in it. And I understand that, because you have the ST, which is st, the R, which is stra, N, and then the NG, which is sort of a N sound, and then the TH. So they say strength, strength. I will say, though, that native English speakers in America add a sort of a K sound here. They add it right here, so that for us, we pronounce it strength. That is because the NG sound is a nasal sound, and we'll be talking more about nasals as we go along. But it's a nasal sound, and then of course the TH is outside your mouth. So to go from a nasal to a TH sounds very difficult to us. It just seems very hard. So we put, naturally enough, we put a K in there, so it sort of goes strength. Makes it easier for us to say. If it makes it easier for you to say, terrific. It will certainly, if you do that, it will certainly make you more understandable. Another thing about strong THs is that when you have a strong TH that's followed by a consonant, for example, in this word, bathtub, bathtub, here's a TH and here's a T, which is a consonant. That's very tough even for us to do. And so what we do is we put a very teeny tiny, very nanosecond pause there. And say, instead of saying bathtub, we'll say bathtub. Very, very small pause there, bathtub, bathtub. But if you have a strong TH followed by a vowel, this is tooth plus ache. It's a compound word. We do that a lot in English, put two words together. Tooth plus ache is when your tooth hurts, you say you have the toothache. But look at that. What I did was I tied the TH and the A together because the A is a vowel. So I can say, instead of saying toothache, I almost said toothache, toothache, toothache. So you can do that with TH words, strong TH words that are followed by a vowel. Another thing that came up for you possibly, and I run into this a lot, I do, is, it doesn't refer to the TH at all, but here was this word. And how did the person pronounce it? She said thumb. Thumb, yes. The B is there in spelling because English spelling is wacky. It's very wild, it's very weird. But it's not pronounced. So that word is thumb, as though it's spelled T-H-U-M. You don't pronounce the M-B. If you have this word, that's pronounced bomb. And this word is dumb. Now, that holds true for all those words, but also whatever comes off them. For example, if you have an extrapolation of a word that is an MB word and you don't pronounce the B won't be pronounced in any possible iteration, in any possible way after that. Okay, let me show you. We call hitchhiking sometimes to thumb a ride, okay? If you did that, I thumbed a ride. There's no B sound in there at all. Not at all. You don't pronounce the B at all. It's there in spelling, but it's not there in pronunciation. This is also true with bombing, bombing. And also, and let me go ahead and make this a capital letter, because in 2007, you may have seen this movie, there was a movie called Dumb and Dumber. Dumber, no B pronounced at all. Dumb and Dumber. And that's true if they went ahead and made a movie called Dumb and Dumber and Dumbest. If they use the superlative of the EST, it's still true. Where your root word has an MB where the B is not pronounced, it's there in spelling, but it's not pronounced. Anything off that word, any possible addition you have to that word, the B will still not be pronounced. So you have thumbed, bombing, dumb and dumber. Thanks so much. Be sure to come in again for the next session. We'll be doing the third session. I'll be doing L. And I want to say that I want especially people from East Asia to listen to this, because it's especially important for you, because in East Asian languages, and I mean Japanese, Chinese, Mandarin, Vietnamese, Korean, the L and the R are actually produced in the mouth very similar ways, but in English they're pronounced very, very differently, and especially in American they are produced really differently in the mouth. So come back for that. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.